Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here, or Tiger Tang What 2, however you want to call me, I don't really care. And today, we're back in World of Tanks, and this is some Muts gameplay, a vehicle that I've owned for, I don't know, 6 months now, or 7 months, when it was released in, I think, before the summer of 2016, if I'm correct. I'm not entirely sure though. But it's the very first Swiss vehicle in the game, although it's branded a German tank in World of Tanks, because the Swiss don't have a tree or a complete nation in the game. Unfortunately, it would be very interesting if they had that. But today we want to talk about Tank Fest that actually happened in Moscow in December this year. The very first real hosting that Wargaming ever have done, where they showed off the plans for the next year. It's like a big BlizzCon, if you have heard of that. BlizzCon, with Blizzard, with Diablo, all that kind of stuff that happens every year. So they have presented us plans for 2017, and some of those plans were very, very interesting, at least for me, because I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this year, especially for World of Tanks. I think 2016 has been a very, very big year for the game. They have made a lot of changes in the way they react and interact with the community, pretty much. And I think this entire step of making everything a little bit more open and talking to the community is the first step of getting this game up to today. Getting this game to a state where it is a lot of fun to be playing it again, like back in the days when it was released. So the very first thing that they will be trying to fix in the upcoming, or in this year, is going to be matchmaking. And I can totally understand their concerns, because matchmaking has been a problem for this game for the last 5 years. Although they have made changes, I think in 2012, where they introduced this two-tier system where pretty much only tanks that have a difference of two tiers can go up against each other. So if you're playing a tier 8, you can only go all the way to tier 10. You can face tier 10 vehicles, or you can face tier 6 vehicles. Back in the days when this game was released, you were able to face tier 10 vehicles in your KV2 or in your KV1. Actually, it was a KV1 back then, not a KV2. They did not split those vehicles up for the first year and a half, I think. So there was just a big KV1 with an amazing 107mm gun that the KV5 is using, and just imagine going up against a mouse in that tank. That was no fun at all. So yeah, matchmaking will be fixed, and I have actually made some notes to that regarding what kind of changes we can be expecting for matchmaking. So the very first thing that they're going to be trying to do is that there are going to be 3 vehicles on the top, 5 in the middle, and 7 at the bottom. So in conclusion, they want to have, if it comes to that, if there are, wait, I have to check it real fast. If you have top tiers in the game, that there are only 3 top tiers. Like if we are taking a look at the tier 10 match, that there are 3 tier 10 tanks on the top, 5 tier 9 tanks in the middle, and 7 tier 8 vehicles on the bottom. And that is one of the changes that I think definitely needs to happen, because those tier 8 vehicles that are facing tier 10 vehicles, just to fill up the ranks in a match where there are like 7 tier 10 vehicles and, I don't know, 3 tier 9, no, let's say 7 tier 10 vehicles, 5 tier 9 vehicles, and then 3 tier 8 vehicles. That never really works out. Of course, with those changes, they will have to introduce new tier 10 and tier 9 light tanks, and I'm really excited for those because back in the days when there weren't any weren't any tier 10 tank destroyers or tier 10 medium tanks, I always thought it was great that there were only tier 10 heavy tanks because it made those tier 10 heavy tanks kind of special. But when they released those tier 10 medium tanks, I immediately fell in love with my M48 Patton, with the T62A, with the Object 140, and I think that adding all those vehicles made it a lot more balanced for gameplay, at least, because finally you had a medium tank that was on the same level as the heavy tank branch, and finally you had tank destroyers that were on the same level as heavy tanks. So the change, I think it only makes sense, and I'm really excited for the light tanks right now. I'm not sure how they're going to be doing it because I do own quite a few tier 8 light tanks right now, and I want to see how they're going to be implementing those tier 9 and tier 10 light tanks. I guess that you can grind from the tier 8s to the tier 9s immediately, but who knows what those tier 10 vehicles will be like. There are already informations out to those vehicles, but they are probably still just rumors, at least the statistics. Although I'm not entirely sure. I'll make a video about them if I can get some information on that. And then one of the most annoying things regarding matchmaking is the very fast lose and the very fast losses and the very fast wins. And that has to do, probably one of the main reasons is the distribution of the different tank types on the teams. Let's say that one team gets all the medium tanks, the other team gets all the tank destroyers. Obviously the medium tanks can all roll on the one side and just steamroll everything. That has happened quite a few times. I'm glad that they're going to be changing that as well. That pretty much is, I think, the main target for 2017, changing matchmaker. I totally agree with the points that Wargaming is bringing up, because matchmaker just needs to be fixed. It doesn't matter if you have great content in this game. It doesn't matter if it is a lot of fun to play, as long as there is a really frustrating factor that just keeps on coming up. Then the next thing that they want to fix artillery, and thank God for that. I want to get arty fixed, and they want to change the role of artillery back to a supporting role. That pretty much damage is secondary. And I think that is very important because artillery is just way overpowered in certain situations right now. And it's kind of with RNG, it's either useless or it just destroys everything. It's super weird. I don't like the position artillery is in right now because it's so frustrating on both sides when you get hit actually by artillery, and it's frustrating on the other side if you're missing every shot as an artillery player. So that is another big change that they're going to be that they're going to be working for. And then we have new maps, or pretty much reworked maps, that they actually look better for 2017. And we're going to have new German heavy tanks with a new line for the Maus. That is going to be really interesting. They're going to be putting the tier 10 German premium tank that you could actually get in the campaign, the VK, if I'm not mistaken, 7201, as a tier 10 vehicle. Obviously all the other people will still keep the vehicle that they have, and they're gonna get the new one as well, I think. I'm not sure, but if you own a Maus right now, I'm pretty sure that you're gonna get a replacement for the Maus. You're gonna get the VK, and you're gonna get the Maus as well. At least I hope that they're gonna be doing it like that, because that's how they did it back in the days with if they changed vehicles, if they pretty much swapped them in place. At least that's what I did. That's what they did with the T30, as it used to be a tier 10 heavy tank and then turned into a tier 9 tank destroyer as we know it now. So, all in all, I think Tankfest was a very, very nice opportunity to see the plans for the future in World of Tanks. Obviously, there's still a lot of work to be done, but I'm looking forward with a optimistic kind of view on this entire thing. And I'm really excited for this sandbox event. I missed the very first sandbox event, but the second sandbox event, I will be trying to get into that one, and maybe I can give you guys some information about that, if it is possible. Because if you look at the sandbox iteration, they had some very good ideas, and some of these ideas will be coming in the next sandbox event that is starting somewhere in this year. And they will be changing the penetration system, so that armor will be more effective. That is going to be interesting as well. So I'll see you guys on the next video. I hope you enjoyed this little informative Tank Fest video. It's a little bit late, but I always like to discuss about such topics. So hit me up in the comment section, and we can have a little discussion about the future of World of Tanks.